Arizona, out west, is in play. Two reasons. The president is unpopular there, just as he is nationally, and the demographics of Arizona and the Sun Belt are changing. Let's use first 2016 as a template to remind us, yes, this was a pretty close state. In Donald Trump's victory, he won Arizona, but only by 91,000 votes, and the population in this state is growing quickly. That it is in play, though, is a big wow. We have to go way back in time. Hillary Clinton, the Democratic nominee in 2016, it was her husband, Bill Clinton. He was the last Democrat to win the presidential election in the state of Arizona back in 1996 against Bob Dole with an assist, Bill Clinton's campaign would tell you, from Ross Perot. A narrow victory in Arizona way back in 1996. If you come through the years, in 2004, George W. Bush carried our Arizona pretty comfortably. 2008, John McCain, the senator from Arizona, was on the ballot, and he carried his home state quite comfortably. In 2012, it was Barack Obama against Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney carried Arizona quite comfortably. So why might it be in play after Donald Trump won it narrowly in 2016? Well, Democrats do well in Tucson, you see, and up in Flagstaff, but this is where we're going to watch. Maricopa County, Phoenix, and the suburbs. 60% of the votes are going to come from here. This is one of the fastest growing areas in America. Yes, a rising Latino population, but also fast growing suburbs like Goodyear outside of Phoenix. This is the battleground in American politics, and it is a battleground where President Trump is losing. If Joe Biden wins Arizona, nearly impossible to see Donald Trump getting 270 electoral votes and winning re-election. Florida is always a presidential battleground. Here's a big difference in 2020 compared to 2016. It is now President Trump's home state. He changed his registration from New York 2016. He will vote in Florida in 2020. Let's use the 2016 map and look at a couple of things that were critical to the president in 2016 that might be a little different as we go into 2020. Look at this back in 2016. Number one, just look. Yes, President Trump won, but only by 113,000 votes, just shy of that. So it was close in Florida, as it often is. Why did he win? Look at the 17-point advantage Donald Trump had among voters over the age of 65. 21% of the electorate, a giant lead. Older voters were key to President Trump. So were women, in the sense that Hillary Clinton won women with 50% to 46%, but that's more than half of the electorate. The president essentially held his own among women. Can he do that in 2020? Polls late in the race do show Joe Biden doing even better than Hillary Clinton among women, and Joe Biden turning things around among senior citizens. That will be something important to watch. When you look at the map, three things about Florida. Number one, the farther south you go, the further north you get, meaning down here in Palm Beach County, in Broward County, and in Miami-Dade County, you have a lot of retirees who started in the Northeast, more liberal, more Democratic voters. That's why you see it as blue. Joe Biden must run it up down here on the Southeast coast among voters who tend to be Democrats. A lot of them tend to be from the Northeast. Number two, President Trump must run it up northern Florida. You're in the north, but it votes like the South, Georgia and Alabama. These counties here, look at some of these counties from back in 2016. You just pull up some of the margins. Yes, not a lot of votes, but look how big the numbers are. The president must run it up again. The Trump base must turn out in smaller, rural, working-class communities. Then you have the competition in the central part of the state, and this used to be called a battle for independence. I would call it now a battle for the suburbs. What happens in Orlando? Do the Democrats win not only in Orlando, but in the growing suburbs? And if there's one place you want to watch on Election Day, it was key back in 2016. One of the first signs President Trump's voters were coming out, Pinellas County, the home of St. Petersburg, to the west of Tampa. Again, a suburban area here, key for the president 4 years ago, but it was very close. Will Joe Biden perform better in the suburbs? That will be a key test in battleground Florida. It has been a long time since Georgia has mattered late in a conversation about presidential politics. This is Georgia 2020. Democrats think they have a chance. We'll fill the map in on election night. You have to go all the way back, a long way back, to 1992. Governor Bill Clinton, in his first run for the presidency, wins Georgia just barely. Look how close that margin is, and he wins it. Even the Clinton campaign conceded at the time because of the third-party candidacy of Ross Perot. That was a generation ago, the last time a Democrat won Georgia in presidential politics. So let's fast forward 2016. It was not really all that close. 5 points, 6 points there. Donald Trump winning big time over Hillary Clinton, keeping Georgia in the Republican fold. Why might 2020 be different? The first place we will look is African-American turnout. Fulton County, home of Atlanta, other cities around Georgia, African-Americans will be a big chunk of the vote. The question is, it's the turnout. Will black turnout be off the charts in Atlanta and the surrounding areas this year? That's one thing Democrats are counting for. Another thing, though, is to look at the suburbs right around. This is Cobb County. You're moving west from Atlanta. You're into the suburbs now. Yes, Hillary Clinton won this suburb, but just barely. Cobb County. Again, Can the Democrats, can Joe Biden run that number up bigger in Cobb County? For President Trump, you know you're going to lose these Democratic areas of Columbus and Atlanta and Augusta. You know you're going to lose. The question there is, what are the margins? And then the other key question for the president, can he do this again? Can he run up huge margins, small, tiny rural counties? But this is where the Trump base came out of the woodwork in 2016. White, rural, working class voters, 70% here, 70% here, 88% here. Does the Trump base in these small rural towns come out in the numbers they did in 2016, or do some of those voters stay home? Democratic turnout in the cities and the suburbs make the difference. Georgia is changing. Democrats believe it is moving their way. The key 2020 question is it moving fast enough? That Iowa is even in play this late in the 2020 campaign tells you how much this year is different from 4 years ago. 99 counties, we will fill them in on election night. Go back 4 years, this was a Trump state, and big time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 counties, blue, of the 99 in Iowa. Hillary Clinton losing and losing big. So why is Iowa in play this time? Number one, Joe Biden is running better among white voters. Iowa is a predominantly white state. If you go back in time to 2016, white men, white women added up. That's more than 70% of the electorate in the state of Iowa. Donald Trump 4 years ago won it big, winning by 30-plus points among white men, winning by 9 points among white women. Joe Biden simply must perform better. Some of the polls indicate that he can. Here's another way to look at Iowa. 99 counties, a big Trump victory 4 years ago, but Barack Obama carried this state twice. Let's go back and look at the numbers. First, let's go all the way back to 2008. Barack Obama wins Iowa by 10 points almost, 9-plus points there. Look at all the blue in the eastern part of the state. Fast forward 4 years, Obama wins it again. A little bit more red, but Obama still with a convincing victory. Iowa has 31 pivot counties. What are those? Counties that twice voted Democrat, twice voted for Barack Obama. You see all this blue in the eastern part of the state. And then in 2016, bam, look at all that red. That is the big test for Joe Biden. Will all these places stay Republican and stay red? Are they ready to come home? That will be the big test on election night if Joe Biden can do the improbable and carry Iowa. North Carolina is an absolute must for President Trump if he's going to recreate that 2016 map, get back to 270 electoral votes and win re-election. Let's go back to 2016 to look at what is key. The president won largely, even though if you go back in time, Hillary Clinton, she did win in Raleigh. She did win in Durham. She did win, if you pull the map out and go back to the state's population center, in Charlotte. Hillary Clinton did what a Democrat has to do, right? Run it up in the urban areas and the close-in suburbs. Here's one of the problems, though. Hillary Clinton did run it up, but not by historic comparison. Go back to the exit polls. You look at 2008. Barack Obama carried North Carolina in 2008. Why? Because 23% of the electorate was African Americans. African Americans turned out in record high numbers in the Obama history-making year of 2008. By 2016, that turnout had dropped to 20%. You might say that's a modest drop, but it's enough. It was enough to turn the state from blue, very narrow, look how narrow it was, very blue victory there for Barack Obama. Obama then lost it to Mitt Romney, and by 2016, North Carolina was back in the Republican fold. Can the Democrats get it back? Yes. Again, that African-American turnout in places like Mecklenburg County, absolutely critical. But in addition to that, the new dynamic, especially after 2018, is does Donald Trump lose the suburbs this time? He won them in 2016. Where will we watch for that? We'll watch for that. Raleigh-Durham, the Research Triangle, medical workers, college-educated women. There's a lot of them there. The suburbs around Charlotte as well, the suburbs around Winston-Salem. So look to the urban areas. Democrats must get African-American turnout, but if Joe Biden is going to turn North Carolina back from red to blue, it will be because of his support in the suburbs. No Republican in modern times has won the White House without winning Ohio, so it is absolutely essential to the president's comeback strategy. So what can we learn from the 2016 map as we watch for the results to come in 2020? One of the most interesting things we saw very early, the polls close early here, in southern Ohio, these small counties, one of the first things we saw in 2016 was the source of President Trump's white working class rural support. Look at the margins he ran up in these little counties along the southern Ohio border, 70% here, 66% here, 76% there. That was the first sign that President Trump was overperforming even Mitt Romney, running it up in Ohio. We'll watch for that in 2020. Is the Trump base solid, or are some of those white working class voters defecting to Joe Biden? Other big things to watch for Democrats, the most important part, turn voters out in the city. Is African American turnout high in Cleveland? Can Joe Biden get a bigger margin in Cuyahoga County than Hillary Clinton did? Something else to watch? What about the suburbs? Donald Trump narrowly carried the suburbs back in 2016, including here, pretty big margin in Lake County. These are the suburbs just to the northeast of Cleveland. Can Joe Biden turn this blue or at least make it more competitive? If he wants to win in Ohio, Lake County outside of Cleveland will tell you a lot about where the suburbs are in 2020. One more big test. I want to show you down here, Stark County. Former Vice President Biden went here after the first presidential debate. Why, you might ask, right? Look at the margins back in 2016. Why would Joe Biden go to a place Donald Trump won by such a lopsided margin? Well, this is one of the so-called pivot counties. Stark County, if you go back, here's the 2012 race. It was for Barack Obama. If you go back to 2008, it was for Barack Obama. Pivot counties voted twice for Obama and then flipped to Donald Trump in 2016. So on election night, watch Southern Ohio, watch Cleveland and the suburbs, watch Stark County. If it is red, maybe Trump has a comeback in Ohio. If it is blue, Joe Biden is on his way to the White House.